Hey guys, welcome back to the Fool Show. Of course, I am Foolish Phil. I just wanted to do a little video recap, give my thoughts on Michigan's 79-57 victory over Iowa. And this was really the tale of two halves. And let's just break it down really. The big story of the game was Luka Garza versus Hunter Dickinson. Two like 6'11". Garza is Dickinson 7'1". Senior versus freshman. Two of the best big men in the Big Ten. They even practiced together during the summer. You would know that if you watched, the game. And really, I know it was a great matchup. Dickinson did a great job, but fouls were a problem in the first half. He had 2 fouls. Davis got 2 fouls. And Michigan had to really rotate their guys quite a bit. So even though the big matchup was Dickinson versus Garza, and Dickinson held his own. Don't get me wrong, he did great. But you got to give props to Davis, who chipped in 6 points too. Brandon Johns had 2 points. He missed some layups. But you know what? He wasn't a defensive liability out there. When he had to go, Brandon Johns Jr. is really a 4. And he was playing, obviously, one of the best 5s in the whole country. And he wasn't getting schooled all over the place. So even though Johns didn't score much, I gotta give him props because he didn't let Garza get on a roll either. So just for the sake of it, the first half, tight game. Not very good offense either way. It was 32-29 at the end of the first half. It was just a choppy game. Lots of fouls. Well, not fouls. There were only 5 fouls apiece till I think Iowa fouled a couple at the very end to even get to 5 or 6. And it was just choppy. There were I counted 4 official TV or referee reviews. Some were clock issues, some were fouls, hook and holds, and all that. And so it was just a choppy first half. And 32-29. Neither team played that great. They were playing good defense, don't get me wrong. But it was a tight game. Second half, well, I tell you what, Franz Wagner took over the first half of the second half. He was just on fire. Dominating, just going straight to the lane, getting layups, contested layups too. They weren't easy layups. He was getting contested layups. And he had a 3-pointer too. He had 9 points in the first 4 minutes of the second half, I think it was. And he just came out and just took over. And that's just what he can do, which is just such an advantage for Michigan as a team. You could have Wagner, who, he did all right. In the first half, he had 8 points, 3 of 5 shooting. But he just took it over. Just over and over and over, and Iowa didn't have anyone that could stop him. And it was just excellent. And Livers started going a little bit from 3 again. I think he finished 4 or 5 from 3-pointers with good old 16 points I have written down here. The offense really kicked going. In the second half, Michigan outscored Iowa 47-28. They took what was a tight game till probably the first 5-6 minutes of the second half, and then they just go. They just start hitting shots and they get defensive stops. You can also point to the fact that Garza is Iowa's biggest weapon, and he had an off night, thanks to Michigan's defense, sure, and then he was missing some shots he probably doesn't normally miss. And he was getting tired. And it's kind of reminds me of how Michigan did this against Cassius Winston a couple years back, where they just rotated guys on him and you just keep putting a fresh guy on him, and even though Dickinson and Davis got fouls, you just put in Johns, and Iowa did not take advantage of that. Back with Michigan State versus Cassius Winston in the game Michigan won versus him in his senior year, I think it was, or maybe it was a junior year. Sorry if I get that wrong. But they just rotated guys, and they just tired Cassius Winston out. They did that tonight versus Luka Garza. Just tired him out. Howard has done that very well, at least in the games I can remember. Obviously, Liddell and Washington Jr. versus Ohio State just were on fire. So obviously the Ohio State game, they didn't really do that. But they did it tonight, and that's what's important. Tonight's game. Just an excellent game. Like I said, Wagner just took over. Dickinson held his own. He won the matchup versus Luka Garza. He finished with 14 points, 8 rebounds. Livers chipped in 16 points. Wagner had 21 points, 4 assists. Just a 9 of 12 shooting, too. 9 of 12 shooting. Just outstanding. And the bench. The first half, they had 4 points in the first half off the bench. Second half, Brown got 7. The total bench got 15 points. Davis got another 2, I think, and Johns got a 2 in there, I think, as well. So just all of a sudden the bench came alive as well. Just overall, you can't be more happy as a Michigan fan than I am right now. This team just went into Columbus, beat the number 4 team in the country on the road. Now they come back home. They beat the number 9 team at home. Great. And they're just playing great. And even when you have a tight half like this, you just have that belief. You have that confidence that Michigan is just going to get it going. They're going to get some easier shots. They're going to start exerting their will. And that's just what it is. It's just like you're just waiting for Michigan to exert their will because they're a more skilled team athletically or more skilled team scheme-wise. Just some of the play calls they did were just outstanding how they worked. I just loved it. The one play that really sticks out to me was they had, I don't know who had the ball, maybe it was Brooks, but they double team. He was at just past the 3-point line, and they thought they were going to dump it down to Dickinson. So they double Dickinson, and here comes Brown, curl right into the lane for an easy open shot, just drains it, just like inside the free throw line, just drains it, just uncontested shot. It was just outstanding. And Michigan just has such a great offense. The only question is, are they going to have a poor shooting night? That really seems to be the issue for Michigan. Will they have a poor shooting night? And so far, they haven't had that this year outside of Minnesota. And Minnesota, poor shooting night, there you go. There was their loss. So, Michigan, another win. They're at 12-1 in the Big Ten, 17-1 on the season. Just keep going. Don't get me wrong, but don't look past Indiana. Now you're going to start playing Indiana, who's on the bubble. They're hungry, and hopefully Coach Howard can get the team focused. Because you know what? This win is great, but if you lose the next game, you lose that ground in the standings. So keep it going, keep focused, and get that next win. I gotta say, I thought it was a little funny. Fran McCaffrey, coach of Iowa, gets teed up in the second half. And at the point, Michigan was in the foul count. At that point, Michigan had 7 fouls, and Iowa had 2. And Fran McCaffrey gets teched up for complaining. I don't know how, 3 or 4 times you see Garza just come around with that big elbow, and he never got called for it. I think he got 1 foul in the whole game. And where you have Dickinson and Davis getting fouls, and they have to sit and rest. So it's just kind of funny that Garza gets the calls, and Fran McCaffrey gets a tech for complaining about not getting the calls, even though Iowa was getting the calls in the game. So it's kind of, it is what it is. He was probably just frustrated that Garza wasn't shooting well in the tee. He could probably read the tea leaves that the game was slipping away and tried to fire up his team one way or another. It didn't work. Michigan pulls out the win, pulling away 79-57. Think about that. A 22-point victory over the number 9 team in the country. That's nice. I like that. Let me know what you guys think. Love seeing those comments. I'll try to respond as I can. Appreciate the new subscribers as well. Wonderful. Until I see you guys next time, probably after the Indiana game, go Blue!